Before we begin, thank you very much to Cyberman J for joining the Patreon campaign. Thank you very much, always appreciated. I'm not going to harp on the Patreon too much today outside of thanking today's patron, because I have a pile to go through for this video, and I don't want this to go too long, so once again, I went Transformer thrifting, and I love doing this because I end up with so many things I normally wouldn't give a chance to, and it does give me a chance to appreciate Transformers outside of just, the usual generation stuff. So, let's take a look at what I got, and by the end of the video, take a guess as to how much I paid for the entire pile, and we'll just see how close you came, okay? So, we're going to start off with a couple of familiars, because I hadn't seen these in quite a while. That is a Cyber Battalion Optimus Prime, and to go with it is the Cyber Battalion Megatron. I remember when Cyber Battalion toys were so hard to find. They were only released internationally, and it was super annoying to get a hold of. Eventually, Walgreens started carrying them, so the later ones especially got a lot easier to find. Today, they're the cheapo ones that you can find on Amazon for, next to nothing compared to a normal Transformer. If you never saw these before, they are about old school Voyager size, but they are limited on articulation, hollowed out, but not to an authentic degree, so you can see some hollowing on Prime's forearms and then, behind him, but he's still got solid legs and all that. This, I forget how much I like this Megatron until I have it in hand again. This one, I'm always shocked that this Megatron was never redone in the G2 colors. I so hate that the Cyber Battalions had so few mold reuses, because this one could have been something really, really fun to have. And I like the overall look. I like the design of this Cybertronian tank that he's got going on. I like the treads as the chest details. I like the overall shape. It's a very powerful looking Megatron. Very hollow. But it is a cheaper figure, but not as cheap as they make him now. Interesting little wrinkle there. Yeah, I forget how much I like these until I've got them again. No. The Optimus Prime, I actually have two of. This one's a little bit loose in the elbows, which means I just might disassemble him and make a custom paint project out of it. The question is, what do I repaint him into? Because I always thought this one had a really good mean-looking head for a Nemesis or a Toxitron repaint or a Shattered Glass. I could come up with my own color scheme. I don't know. The options are limitless. But yeah, it's mostly mushroom pegs holding it together, so shouldn't be too hard to repaint. If you want one that really caught my eye when I was looking inside, it's just a bunch of, when I get these, it's literally just a bunch of loose Transformers in a bag. And the one that caught my eye was this roadbuster. And this is not the studio series. This is the Dark of the Moon Roadbuster. This one has been kicking around a hot minute. So it's the more complex transformation. It's the stock-looking NASCAR in vehicle mode. It does not have the weapon greeble all over him. And I remember liking this toy. I actually can remember liking quite a few of the Dark of the Moon toys. Never mind the fact that it's missing one of those shoulder pieces. It literally just fell off when I picked up the figure. So it's all right at the floor right now. He is complete outside of the fact that he's missing his MechTech weapon, which basically means he's still a competent Transformer all on his own. Yeah, that immediately caught my eye. That among all these bags I'm picking up, I gotta walk home with that one. So yeah, that was a nice surprise, because most of these bags, I will admit, you're mostly going to find one-step or auto change toys, because frankly, they're great little tricks that kids are going to have fun with, but they're going to get bored of them so quickly because that's all they do. A good example here is the Earthspark Soundwave, which for a long time was the only Soundwave you could find out of Walgreens. But no, it's a nice little incarnation of him. Like, it works as a one-step changer. I mean, I'll hit the button. I thought I was going to hit the button. I was just, okay. Okay, it's the other way. I always forget which way the automorph goes here. But yeah, like, all still works. And yeah, like, it, just to create a little desktop-sized sound wave. Yeah, not bad. Now, obviously, no articulation. Like, you saw how it transformed. This actually kind of... It's weirdly clever, because the forearms are actually part of the leg. And the biceps and shoulder are just their own separate piece that floats. So it just creates this illusion of a solid robot once you put it together. Because I guess that's all it really has to do. I don't really think about like the different engineering steps it would take to make something like that as opposed to a normal transformer. Gives me a little bit more respect for the automorphing stuff. But yeah, kids get bored of these so fast. So a lot of these end up in these kind of secondhand stores. Here's another good one that we can move to as an example. Thunderhoof. This is another reason I like going to do this thrifting. Because like, look at this. Like, we've got old movie toys. We've got Cyber Battalion figures. And now we've got RID 2015. It's a wild menagerie of plastic when you go into one of these shops. Yeah, but again, it's the one-step changer. This isn't spring... Well, it is spring-loaded, but it's not like a auto flip. You gotta move this whole thing up, and then there's your whole transformation. I can move those back, so it's just his antlers. Thunderhoof's just one of those weird standouts from RID 2015 that a lot of people liked. I genuinely just think everyone liked having a tractor transformer after so long. But no, like, again, this is a chance to actually experience a toy I otherwise would have passed on. It's a neat little flip trick. This one I do have to clean up because it's not the smoothest in the world. It is kind of gunked up with something, and I don't want to think about what that something is. But, it is, when the transformation gimmick works properly, it is a neat little figure. Did you just decide to stop working correctly as soon as I was on camera? What are you doing to me? There we go. Thank you. Yeah. So that was a fun little surprise. RID 2015. Like, I got a few of the deluxe, or I guess, I'm sorry, warrior class toys, and I kind of disregarded everything else. So again, fun little thing to just have, So, truth be told, a lot of the stuff you end up with when you go thrifting like this is probably going to be rescue bot stuff. Again, things that not only will kids get bored of quickly because it's all automorph stuff that doesn't really engage the kid when you transform it, nor does it really hold up over time, because, well, I say that, but these hold up really, really well physically. They grow out of them quickly. We'll put it that way. But I do have 3 of these. So these are actually the old school ones. These are the larger original rescue bots. I believe these are the Energize figures. So they all have Energon clear plastic going on. No, I'm not worried about the clear plastic on these guys. It's a bit of a different temper, and it's a lot more thick. So it works better. But yeah. Old school rescue bot stuff. So there's my Optimus Prime, flipped up with translucent head now and everything. So, yeah, this stuff, like, I'm surprised. Like, someone pointed out, like, rescue bot stuff might be surprisingly difficult to find later on because they were designed for very small children, like 3 to 5-year-olds, who are going to slam and bang these things around, and they're working on automorph gimmicks, meaning there's a lot of internal guts in here that could potentially break and the toy won't work anymore. So to find intact ones that have not been massacred by children might end up being rare. But also, I found quite a few of these things that still work pretty well. So maybe not so much. Maybe that was just like weird speculative stuff. Here, let's keep going. Found the Bumblebee as well. The translucent blue front end does not work nearly as well as Optimus Prime's more natural blue on the legs and head, but still works here too. So like, oh, Oh, it's this way. Forget, this is the Bumblebee that goes this way. Yeah, so all that still works. It gets a little bit stuck, but otherwise, yeah, the Bumblebee still works the way as intended. It's probably gone through, God, probably at least 100 transformations over the lifespan of the toy, and it still works. Because the other thing is that the other side of that is rescue bots tend to not break because they're intentionally designed for small children to play with. You know, they're made with that banging in mind. No, this one always like amused me. Like it's back to dumpy G1 Bumblebee, even though it's loosely like prime based. I would expect this to rotate up to finish like the look of his chest. It does not. It stays where it is. So we got that. We got that Bumblebee, and then we do have one Chase as well. And the Chase has like the nicest little flip feature. Like, he just does his normal G1 transformation. I have to awkwardly push up on his windshield. For him, it's the light bar, which makes total sense for the cop car transformer. And just flip it up, and it just works. I do think he is the worst looking one. Because he's got this like poncho thing going on with the top of the car for his torso. But again, he's held up pretty well. Like, everything still works. Like, he does come off of his gearing once in a while. But yeah, that's wear and tear. That'll happen. But yeah, it's not often I find the big rescue bots in these little searches of mine. So it's kind of nice to have, just to kind of see the contrast. Now, suffice to say, those are not the only ones I found. I did find more of the typical smaller rescue bots as well, which I can go quickly into those. Here's the medium point between the old and the new. So this is just an F1 Bumblebee. Much more simple transformation than some of the other rescue bots. So just flip that down, and the arms come out. I really wish there was more paint on him here. But I'm surprised at how much I like the idea of an F1 Bumblebee. So if I flip that up and go back into the vehicle mode, it is kind of drag strip, but 4 wheels kind of separates that out. I like the Bumblebee stripe pattern to the front. That's a really neat look. In general, yellow and black can make a really sick looking color scheme. See BotCon Goldbug if you ever want proof of that. And I like how it looks on here. Like, I really wouldn't mind this being like some weird take on Bumblebee in a main series. Like, there's something about like the shape of the F1 car that I think kind of fits him. Maybe it's the sound the engine makes, because it's very bee buzzy, but very loud bee buzzy. Let's see, we got some more typical ones. So if we can go on the F1 car thing, behold, this one actually really surprised me to find. This is the one rescue bot toy, like before they started doing like the classic hero team stuff, that I know is definitively a villain character, or at least a villain drone. I believe this one is just a drone character in the show. But yeah, it's essentially the Viacon of the rescue bot line, which is fascinating that there even exists one. You can see, like, he's the one that doesn't have a rescue bot emblem on the belly. So he's another one, spoiler, to just flip out. It's the same tooling as the Heat Wave that turns into an F1 car, or at least the very least it uses the same engineering scheme. I did find another one of those in this particular hunt, but that one doesn't quite work. So like, it's okay. It's okay. I've got the previous one, so I still have that in the collection. But it's neat to have like the one bad guy, you know, and like, again, I wouldn't mind seeing this expand into like a more generations based minicon, because hey, they could use a little bit more, right? Because we got the flyers, we got the standard cars, maybe a high speed car. Maybe. So I got a few more of those. Let's see who else I got. More one-step changer stuff. But alright, so RID 2015 again. We got a stealth Bumblebee. This is a 3-step changer, and these I like better. Now for starters, mine does not have a see that little gray block that comes out there, and like there's none on the other side. Yeah, there's supposed to be another one on the other side, I believe. I got to open him up and figure out what's supposed to hold this down. You can see this is the one that is like pretty well worn. There's all that rough paint around the sides. If you can see, I don't know if the camera. Oh yeah, the camera can pick it up. Lots of little scratches and surface blemishes. This is a well-loved toy, and we know from I've said this in the previous rescue videos. We respect a well-loved toy because a kid had a lot of fun with this before they eventually passed on from it. So we do hold respect for how much joy this gave a kid until they grew up, and we're going to give him just like a nice little rest as part of this collection. But I like how this works compared to like just like a spring-loaded one-step changer. Like you pull out the legs and the feet flip up automatically. I rotate this around and now the same shaft that made the legs open up going out will now make the arms go out and the head come up pushing down. That's actually a pretty clever trick. And again, I kind of respect the engineering that goes into something like that. No articulation, I wish there was, but once again, black with yellow is just looking really, really good, isn't it? It's looking really, really good, actually. So yeah, him I gotta open up and fix up just to see what's wrong with that last little foot. Otherwise, like, this is a great little fidget toy. I mean, I say little, like, it's pretty big. It's pretty big, especially compared to everything else. Not as big as this, though. Here's a great example of thrifting gets you toys that you normally wouldn't pick up. It's the Smash Changer Scourge from Rise of the Beast. I love how we just they just kind of went, well, no kid's gonna buy just a solid black Mad Max truck. Better make that brown. Oh, like they did with what they did with like Age of Extinction Grimlock. Like, we don't want to do a monochrome toy, make it brown. And thus they did. I kind of like it better, weirdly enough. But yeah, the Smash Changers are something that I like. I only got one. I got the Primal, and it was the wrong one, as you'll see why. So there's a blemish here in the fact that it's missing one of the tires, but let's be honest, I don't get a toy like this to roll it around, right? So we have to smash it down to pop those, and then I can hit the button. If I hit it right, there we go. Okay, come on out. Come on out. There we go. I don't think that's just necessarily like anything broken in there, because I have gotten this guy to transform correctly before. It's just a lot of clashing parts. But honestly, I don't mind how it looks. Weirdly enough, the transformation schemes share some DNA with G1 Optimus Prime, and it kind of makes me even more upset that they didn't go with that kind of angle for the movie's story. But it's not a bad looking figure for what it is. Realizing that extra tire is what balances him on a flat surface, because I haven't had him on this stage before. But no, it's way more dynamic than the Primal. And also, it doesn't turn away from me while I'm transforming it, which automatically makes it better. So yeah, I kind of backed the wrong horse on this one. I kind of wish I just grabbed the original. I wish I grabbed this one when I was just curious about the toy line and decided, hey, let's just try one of them. I went Primal because he reminded me the most of Optimus Primal from Beast Wars. I know that's an obvious thing. I mean, the toy looked the most... Never mind. Why am I defending this? The irony is there's a repaint out that looks even closer. Okay, so yeah, this one is actually surprisingly fun. Like, this one actually made me realize I missed out on something that would have been kind of goofy to have. And then there was like the big surprise, because there's always something. Now, I will say there was one bag there that I did not take, and I should have, because there's all duplicates. Everything in there I already had. But two of the toys in there were the keychain reissues of G1, Bumblebee, and Windcharger. And that's a super weird random thing to find. So I should have grabbed it just for that. But by comparison, this one seemed even weirder to find in a child's thrift store of all places. A Leader 07 Megatron. And this thing is 99.9% complete. It is missing exactly one finger. One finger that is broken off. One of these, I believe, one of these is the hinge is split, but the finger is still there, so there's that. But yeah, like, everything else still seems to work on it. Like, I tested out I tested that out. That seemed to work. I remember how to trigger it. It's been a hot minute since I messed with this toy. Yeah, there we go. Well, that still seems to work. I haven't tested the electronics yet, but I don't know. As long as there's no batteries in it, I don't see why they wouldn't work. Yeah, like, just out of nowhere, here I have an 07 Megatron in my collection again. Okay. So, given all of that, I will also let you guys know, and if I remember to post a picture of the entire haul, I will. There were a few other things here that I didn't include, a few other redundant rescue bot things. There was a couple mini-cons in there that, one was incomplete, but the Huffer mini-con for the Power Core Combiner, that one is intact and complete. That's an interesting find. For the entire thing, it was 20 Transformers I walked out of that store with. I paid a grand total $35. And frankly, if I throw this guy on eBay at some point, I will more than make that up. So yeah, if you've got a good spot in town to do a little bit of thrifting, I do recommend it. Because you do end up with some weird fun stuff you wouldn't normally buy. And every now and then, something like this shows up. So, that's going to do it for me today. Just showing off like something of an interesting haul I managed to pick up. So, yeah, it's just my story. If you've done some thrifting yourself, be it at a thrift store, like a child, like this was a Once Upon a Child kid, little kids thrift store, or if it was a flea market or wherever, let me know what it was in the comments below. And as always, I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.